What's going on, mobile gamers? Today I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know with the ultimate setup guide for Wii, for the Dolphin emulator for Android. So let's jump in and level up our gaming knowledge. Alright, mobile gamers, so this part is very important because I have seen a few guides that have tried to teach how to use Dolphin Emulator's file system manager, which involves us downloading another application or using a computer. And if you don't have a computer and don't want to install a whole bunch of different random applications, you don't have to, because I'm going to show you something that is really cool that I actually noticed over a month and a half ago with multiple different applications, actually. If we go into our file manager, we click on the three lines at the top, which is called the hamburger icon. We scroll all the way down until you see Citra, Dolphin, Drive, and Yuzu. We're going to navigate inside our Dolphin folder. Now those other ones, those are folders for all those other emulators. I don't think anybody has actually ever noticed that until today when I showed you this, because I've seen multiple guides where people have downloaded extra apps or said, hey, you have to plug it into a computer, we can't actually access these folders, which is not true, because you can actually access everything within your Android device if you know how to, which I've showed you now. So we're going to need this information for multiple different reasons, because we're going to need to know where our game saves are going to be, which is going to be in this folder. We're going to need to know where our textures are going to be, which is going to be in the load folder. So there's our textures, there's our Riivolution paths. We're also going to need to know where our Wii folder saves are going to be, because our Wii saves are a little bit different setup. I'm going to show you how to do that. We can also find out where our configuration files are. Now, I haven't configured any of my controller profiles yet, but when we do, there's going to be a folder that's in here called Profiles, and then you can back that Profiles folder up or edit it, which I'm going to show you in this advanced guide. That being said, this, again, is how you access this folder. All you have to do, go to your files, go to the three lines, go all the way down to the bottom. At the left-hand side, go to Dolphin, and there is your data. This is your data folders that everybody says you can't access, which you actually can. So there you go. Hope that was helpful. Let's jump to the next section. All right, gamers, so this section is going to cover everything you need to know about your Wii input, because Wii input is very difficult to understand for some people. Even myself, it took me a couple days to actually kind of get it to the point where it would work on a lot of these games that you see on screen, so that I wouldn't have to mess around and change every input every time I went into another game. I have save states set up for a couple of these games so that we can get right into it when we configure this. So we're going to go into our little gear icon first. We're going to go to Wii input. We're going to go to the little settings icon on the right hand side there. We're going to scroll down and we're going to look at where it says Profiles. Profiles is going to be very vital to setting this up, because we want to set our profiles to specific games so that we have pointer access, we have motion access for some games if you want motion. The profiles are going to be set up specifically to each game, and I'm going to show you how to do that right here in this section. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to go and actually set up our buttons first. Now, this is the way I like my A, B, 1, and 2 to be set up, just for the sake of multiple of the games that I actually play. I like my A to be down here, which is my B button, my B to be my Y button. My 1 is going to be my A button, my 2 is going to be my X button. And again, like I said, that's all up to preference, and that's all up to your style of gameplay. You could use A, B, X, and Y if you want, but I don't really like that kind of form factor. This is pretty straightforward when it comes to your buttons, your D-pad. This part is probably the easiest part that anybody can actually figure out, pretty straightforward and easily. Hotkeys, I don't worry about that whatsoever for a lot of these games. I haven't had any reason to actually set that up. Now this next part. This part of this guide is going to show you how to set up your controller with motion. I already showed this with my Wii setup guide for the Odin 2. But I'm going to show you this because I'm going to show you how to configure this completely properly, save the profile if you want to have that motion so that when you shake your device and whatever, you can actually use it just like it's like a Wiimote and a Nunchuck together. So we're going to go to motion simulation. Now, this point, don't worry about that yet, because I'm going to show you what that's all about after. We're not going to worry about that pointer. Now, when you see the shake option, this is actually allowing you to set your shake button to an actual button. We're not going to set this up right now. I'm going to show you that in a second. Same with this tilt. This tilt allows you to tilt your device, well, tilt your device and not actually tilt it with like a joystick and some buttons. I'm just showing you this because I'm going to show you how to set this all up without motion in a second. Motion input. We're going to go into our motion input. We're going to go all the way down to where it says accelerometer. You're going to notice that your accelerometer is already set up. So basically what that means is that we're going to be able to tilt our device, shake our device, and move it back and forth so that if there's games that actually need that, they can be utilized with the whole motion kind of sensing if you want to have it set up that way. Some of you might not want to have it set up that way, and that's what these profiles are actually good for. We need to set up our motion manually for our Nunchuck though. Some games, when you only have the motion set up on one side of the device, don't work great, like Donkey Kong Returns, for example, if you don't set up the motion for your Nunchuck. So we're going to set up our Nunchuck. Our C button is going to be our L1. Our Z or Z, whatever you want to say, is going to be our L2. Our stick, pretty straightforward, is going to be our left stick. Now we're going to go all the way down. As you can notice, we can set up our shake for our Wii Nunchuck as well, but we're not going to set that up manually yet. Same with our tilt if we need to do that. Our swing, we can do that as well, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go all the way down to where it says accelerometer. We're going to long press on this. You're going to see where it says devices. You're going to select that drop down menu. You're going to go all the way down to device sensors. You're going to go to accelerometer, up for up, down for down, left for left, pretty straightforward. And then forward and backward is going to be the same thing. So you're going to go all the way down to device sensors. So you'll see accelerometer forward and device sensors, accelerometer backwards. Now that that's set up, we can go back out of this, go all the way up to the top where it says profiles, click on the little save icon on the right hand side, and then name it. I'm going to name this one Wiimote Nunchuck with Motion. Or you can just put motion, doesn't matter. I'm going to have these in the link in the description below as well as a zip file so that you can actually import these into your Wii profiles. So click done, click OK, click back again, click back again. Now by default, all of these games are going to try to utilize that Wiimote for its main purpose. That's not going to work for Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, for example, and it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt for Mario Kart because Mario Kart uses the pointer. But I'm going to show you Donkey Kong Country Returns and Super Mario Bros. With that function. So we're going to go back, I'm going to click load, and go into a game. I'm going to start shaking. So you can see on the right hand side, I'm shaking my screen, and I'm able to use that utilization of actually shaking my device and blowing on the or the little flowers or whatever, and moving my character around and doing whatever else I need to do with the actual motions. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go to Super Mario Bros. As well. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to my load. Same thing with this. So if I need to shake, do that, and do my tilt, I can tilt my controls just like so. Now, some of you might not like that. So let's go back. Let's get out of here. Let's go back into our settings gear icon. We're going to go to our Wii input. We're going to go to our settings cog. Now, by default, like I said, we are sitting on this profile. If you don't know what profile you're sitting on at the time, which is our Wiimote Nunchuck with Motion, if you click this up arrow, it'll say, do you want to discard your current controller settings and load this profile? For the sake of this part, I'm going to say yes, just to make sure that I'm loading that profile into our Wiimote. We're going to go into our motion input. We're going to be getting rid of our accelerometer settings. Click clear. Long press on it. Just click clear on all of these. The reason for this is because I don't want to have that accelerometer set up for my games. I just want to use the full control of my actual device buttons rather than having to shake it and all that kind of stuff. Maybe some people might find that annoying that you're shaking your device around. So click back, go to motion simulation, go all the way down to where it says X, Y, and Z, or Z. Click on the Y. I'm going to use my R2 button. Make sure it just says axis 22, not axis 22 plus whatever that said. Same with your Z or Z. and have that button set up for basically smashing the ground or spinning in the air. The reason we don't want to set up our X is because I'm going to show you what that does when we do set that up. Basically, if I hold down that button, Donkey Kong's just going to keep rolling if I keep holding down that X, and Mario's, if I press that button, the tilt of that platform is going to start tilting. So we're going to click back. We're going to go down to our nunchuck. We're going to do that same thing. We're going to go down to our Y and Z, or Z, and go all the way down. We got to make sure that we turn off this accelerometer as well. Clear out all of these settings that we just set up, and I'm showing you these settings just so that you know how to actually set them up. Click back, go all the way to the top, click Profiles. Now we already have one that says Wiimote Nunchuck with motion. Now we're going to save this one as Wiimote Nunchuck no motion. Click Done, click OK. Click back again, click back again. Now, all of these games are going to use that one because we just set that up. If we wanted them to use the other one, we would go into our Wii input, settings gear, go to profiles, and we would set the one that says with motion by pressing that up arrow. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go back. We're going to go back out again. We're going to go back out again. Now, what we're going to do, because I want my Donkey Kong Country Returns to have motion, and I want my Super Mario Bros. Not to have motion, I'm going to long press on my game, go all the way down, go to Edit Game Settings, go to Wii Input, click the Settings gear, go to Profile. Now, I'm going to use my motion with my Donkey Kong, so I'm going to use that Wiimote Nunchuck with motion. Go back, go back, go back. It's going to save the settings specifically for that game ID. You long press on the game, you'll see that the game ID at the top is SF8P01. Now, we're going to long press on our Super Mario Bros. We're going to edit game settings, go to Wii Input, go to Settings Gear, go to Profile, and then we're going to set our Wiimote Nunchuck no motion. This is going to be a little bit different because we need to have an option to tilt though. So we're going to go back to our Settings Gear, we're going to go to Wii Input, we're going to Settings, we're going to go to our Profile. Now, the one with no motion, we're not going to be able to do this anymore. So we're going to make sure that we load that no motion one. We're going to go press that up arrow, press yes. Now, we're going to go into our motion simulation. We're going to scroll all the way down, keep going, keep going, keep going, until it says tilt. Our tilt is going to be set up like this. This is how I like it, and that's all up to your preference, but this is how I'm going to set it up for this specific game to show you and give you an idea of how that works. So forward and backwards, think of your Wii remote. Your forward and backwards is just going like this. Some games need that forward and back motion. So I'm going to use my joystick up. I'm going to use my joystick back for the forward and back motion. My left and right, I'm going to use my M2 and M1 buttons on the back. So my left is going to be my right M2, my Z, and my right is going to be my C, which is my M1. So I'm going to show you this. Now we need to go back into that for a second. We got to make sure that we save that. It does automatically save, but I always like to make sure that it saves just so that when I set up my Super Mario Bros. To that specific Wiimote, which we already have set up to our no motion, that it actually configures it properly. So let's go into Super Mario Bros. First. Go to Quick Load. Now I'm going to show you, when I hold that button down, he's going to keep spinning like that. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. I like that. Now, when I'm on this platform, as you notice, we can't tilt the actual control, but if we hold that M1 button, it's going to go up on that side, and it's going to go up on this side. And the reason why I like to hold that button or use that button is because I can still use my other buttons without having to mess around with this joystick. Some people might want to have the joystick set to left and right, but I like it like this. So let's see how this works. And there you go. It kind of gets a little bit interesting to get used to that if you don't want to use your motion controls. But there you go. That's just the way to set up that kind of system. Now, we're going to go into Mario Kart, for example. I'm going to go quickly load my game. You're going to notice that you can't move your little pointer because it's trying to load that one profile without a motion. Now, the pointer is the most annoying part that you might think is hard to set up. We're going to click the back button. We're going to go to Exit Emulation. We're going to go to Settings. We're going to go to Wii Input. We're going to go to Gear Icon. Now, I'm going to set this up with my motion one. So we're going to go yes, So that's what we did, is just loaded that profile. I wish they had an option to actually see what profile we're in to make it a little bit easier, but that's being said, we're going to actually go into our pointer option by going to motion input. We have to turn off this accelerometer. The reason for that is because every time you move your accelerometer like this, that pointer ends up showing up on the screen. So we're going to go clear, 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 clear. Now we're going to go back out. We're going to go to motion simulation. Now we're going to set up our pointer. We're going to go up for up on our right joystick, down for down, left for left, right for right. Recenter. I like to set up my M2 button or my Z button. You're going to go down to where it says relative input and auto hide. Now auto hide, it's all up to your preference if you want auto hide to be on or not. I like to have auto hide on, but I'm going to turn it off just to show you what happens with it on or off. Tilt, all that kind of stuff we don't have to worry about unless you want to worry about the tilt, but there's no tilt options for a couple of these games, so it doesn't really matter. But now you know where the tilt option is if you actually need that with the pointer. Click back. Now for our nunchuck, we're going to have to do the same thing. We're going to have to get rid of those motions, so go all the way down. Get rid of that accelerometer, because that pointer, for whatever reason, it's just because of the actual accelerometer in your Wiimote, for example, the real one, likes to actually appear or disappear. So now we're going to go to our profiles. We're going to save this as Wiimote no motion with pointer. Click OK. Now we're going to go into our Mario Kart. We're going to long press this, go to edit game settings, go to Wii input, settings here, go profile, Wiimote no motion with pointer. Go back, go back, go back. Now go into the game. Now load the game up. And you'll notice that we can move this pointer around anywhere we want without any issues. So the thing is, I think the pointer might be, I might have actually set up the wrong button for one of the actual things here. Now go to exit emulation. Don't try to set up your settings while you're in the game. I'm going to go back out into my motion simulation here. My pointer, oh, that's why. My right is set up as the wrong button here. There we go. So now that I messed that up, it has to be 11 plus and 11 minus. I have to actually resave that profile again. No motion with pointer. Click save, just like so. And now if we go back into Super Mario Kart, quick load. There we go. That's all perfect. Now if we click that button, we can recenter it. So say if you push that off the screen, you lost it. There it is right there. Now no matter what angle you put this device at, that pointer is always going to be able to be there. So let's press A, which is my B button. I know that's confusing. Now we can use that pointer just like it's an actual pointer on our device. I'm going to show you that with Super Mario Galaxy as well. Now I'm going to go my quick load. And here's my game. Now there's my little star for Super Mario Galaxy. And I can use all my other buttons the way that I want to. So there it is. There's the Wiimote setup guide. Basically, in a nutshell, showing you a lot of different things of how to understand the Wiimote for Wii on Dolphin. All right, so this part's going to show you quickly how to change your Wii controller profile name. Let's say you accidentally named it something and you didn't want to name it that. All we're going to do is go into our Dolphin emulator folder, go to config, go to profiles, go to Wiimote, and then you can rename this whatever you want. So in my case, let's go back here. Let's change this to list view so we can actually see the whole name. Make sure you don't change the .ini. That is the extension file of that Wiimote. But if we change this actual name here, so Wiimote, Nunchuck, Motion, Bob, I guess at the end, you're going to go back in, and there's that new name. If we go back into Dolphin, and then we go to our profiles, go to Wii input, settings icon, go to profiles, you'll see that that profile has been set up. Now, if you change that name and you've already configured it to a certain game, I don't remember which one we set up here, but let's go to the settings gear. There it is right there. So this one, you have to recheck that back off so that you know that you're going to be using that Wii Motion with Bob. That's it for controller settings. Navigate to whatever section you want now, because there's a lot of different sections in this ultimate guide. So this section is going to cover how to load some textures. Loading textures might not be for everybody, but some people actually like it. So the first thing we're going to do is go to a site called forums.dolphin-emu.org. Now, this site is one of the sites that you can get the textures from. You can get textures all over Google. There's some textures that work, some that don't. A lot of them do work, and this site is probably the main one that you're going to want to use if you want to load any of these textures in. So we're going to navigate to that website. We're going to scroll all the way down until you see custom texture projects. You're going to click on that. Now, you're going to click back to get rid of that ad. You're going to click on it again, and there goes that ad. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom here, and you're going to see a whole bunch of different textures load up. These are all the textures for Wii. So scroll all the way down until you see the texture that you want, and I'm going to use this one right here, which is Mario Kart. Now, you're going to see an option to actually download it right here. So there's the downloads link. Click it. Let it do its thing. Wait for it to load up, and then click the down arrow on the top right-hand side. Now, some of these sites might have different links, so it might be Mega Drive, it might be Google Drive, which is what this one is. Just all depends on the actual texture pack and where you get it from. Now, we're going to navigate out. We're going to go to an application called RAR Labs, and yes, we have to use this application to unzip things. This is one of my favorite applications to unzip anything. I've used it probably for like 5 or 6 years. So we're going to navigate in there. If you don't have this, you can just get it from the Google Play Store or on Google. Scroll all the way down until you see your texture pack, which is the Mario Kart Wii HD texture pack. Click the checkbox. Click the up arrow. Click OK. Now this is just going to extract this texture pack into your downloads folder. You're going to see 2 folders in here. Now, these textures are okay to be used if you want to use them. It's all up to your preference. I am going to only use the John texture, and I'm going to show you how to actually set that up. Now, the main thing to point out, RMC is the first 3 letters of your game ID. The game ID for Super Mario Bros. Is SMN. The one for Donkey Kong Country is SF8. You can put the whole ID if you want to, just to be safe, SF8P01, but you only need that beginning 3 letters there to actually work for what I'm going to show you. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, since we're in here, we're going to go to Edit Game Settings. We're going to go down to Graphics. We're going to make sure that we have Vulkan set on. Most of these texture packs only work with Vulkan. We're going to scroll all the way down to Advanced. We're going to set on our Load Custom Textures, just like so. Now, make sure that that's checked. Now, this is only going to set up the configuration to load the textures for this specific game. So if we navigate into another game, it's not going to say that it's trying to load anything. Now, how do we put that texture pack into the folder that we want to? Well, I showed you at the beginning a very vital thing that if you skip that part, then you're going to need to know this. First, we're going to navigate to our downloads folder. We're going to go into our downloads folder. We're going to go to RMC. Now, technically, you can load all of these texture packs if you want to. Maybe some of them interfere with other ones, so it's all up to your preference, but I'm going to only show the John 3001 texture. I'm going to copy that entire texture pack by long pressing on it, clicking the 3 dots, click Copy To, click the 3 lines, go all the way down to Dolphin, go all the way down to Load, go down to Textures. Now, I'm going to copy it right here. Okay, so now that that's copied over, we're going to click on the 3 lines. We're going to go back down to Dolphin. We're going to go down to Load. We're going to go down to Textures, and we're going to rename this. You need to rename this to at least the 3 first letters of your game ID, which in our case is just RMC. Click Done. Now, it's not going to show that it renamed right away. You have to click back, go Textures, and there it goes. It named it, and there's all your texture packs inside of here. And if anybody wants to know, if you want to load this into your computer and you want to edit this, make sure not to change the game texture pack ID, because these are IDs that the game is looking for when it's loading. So go back, go back, go back, go back again, go back into Dolphin. Now go into Mario Kart Wii, and you're going to notice that it says found 17 custom texture packs. That's loading those texture packs for you. Click A to play. I'm going to show you the main menu screen. So there's the texture pack being loaded on the main menu screen. Now, one thing that we can do to actually fully enhance this tenfold, you can actually tell the difference if I actually turn that texture pack off. So go to Graphics, go down to Advanced, turn that off, go back into it, and you can see a significant difference when you actually turn that off. So what we're looking for right now is just to press the A button and the actual graphics of Mario and Luigi. So let's go back into our settings, go to graphics settings, go all the way down to advanced, and let's turn that back on. Now for enhancements, I'm going to change the internal resolution to 6K. I'm going to go to 8 times, anastrophic filter to 16 times, texture filtering. I'm going to just leave that to default. I'm going to show you how well that turns up the graphics on this texture pack. Now it's going to slow down the game a little bit, but there we go. There it is right there. So that's how you load your texture packs. You don't have to do that last part that I showed you. I just wanted to show you how well this texture pack looks when you actually enhance it. Sweet spot is about 3x because this device is 1080p, 2 times on anti-aliasing, 2 times on anastrophic filtering, and texture filtering, I just leave it to force linear, and I think that still looks good too. And there's it compiling all these shaders. It's going to recompile everything, get rid of all those old compilations, and set them up. This part's pretty quick and easy. Texture packs aren't as hard as they sound. Sometimes your texture packs might not load, but as you can see the difference by the press the A button. You can see the difference by the menu screen. And I'm going to show you this quickly just so you can actually see the full difference. If we turn off that texture pack, go back. We'll go back into it, and there's the original menu again. It will save it in the background, but there you go. That's texture packs. Very easy, very straightforward. So, Riivolution Mods. They're a little bit new to me, but I got them figured out so that you guys can learn how to use them as well. What they are is basically a configuration file, a game that overlays an existing game. For example, we're going to be using a game called Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii over top of our Super Mario Bros. Wii game. What this is doing is basically allowing us to long press on the game, click Start with Riivolution Patches, and if we have any files inside of this folder for our Riivolution, which are consisted of an XML file, a PNG icon, and a boot.elf file, to actually start playing this game with different levels, different graphics, and a whole bunch of other stuff, basically. So that's basically what a Riivolution mod is. I've only tested this with Super Mario Bros. Wii, and I think, Super Mario Galaxy, which is called Super Mario Gravity. It's in a whole different game altogether. Basically just a mod to overlay an existing game with different maps and different other stuff, basically. That's the gist of it. Now, I put a link below for both of those Riivolution mods. We're only going to be doing the Super Mario Bros. One, just to keep it simple here. Now, at the beginning of this guide, I told you guys where to find your Dolphin data folder. So you're going to go down to where it says load, and you're going to see a folder called Riivolution. Now, this is where we're going to save this file that I'm going to show you here. First, you're going to go to Google Chrome. You're going to copy and paste that link in the description below. And that link is just basically for the Riivolution Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii. So I'm going to type in Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii just into Google, because I don't have that full link right now. Now, you're going to see a link called Download Newer. Download Newer again. Mega Drive is going to pop up. You're going to have to click on the 3 dots on the top right-hand side and click Download. Now, it's going to be a big file, so you got to give it some time to actually load up. All right, now I've navigated to my Downloads folder. As you can see here, it finally finished. Sometimes it just sticks at 100%. That's okay. Don't worry about that. Now we're going to unzip this. You can unzip it by just unzipping it all into your main folder, but I'm going to just leave it the way it is and unzip it using my RAR Labs. So RAR Labs, like I said in the last section, if you follow that section, is very vital and good for a lot of unzipping and extracting of 7Z files, RAR files, and zip files. Now I'm going to click this dot right here. I'm going to click this up arrow, click OK, and let it extract the files. It does take some time sometimes, but this one's not as big as some of these Riivolution mods. Some of them are like 2.5 to 3 gigs big. I don't know what they did to the game, but they're pretty big. All right, now that we've extracted that folder, we're going to go to our downloads. We're going to go into that folder, and you're going to grab this Riivolution folder and the new Super Mario Bros. Wii. Long press both of them and check them off. Click the three dots, click copy to, click the three lines, go all the way down to our Dolphin folder, go down to load, go to Riivolutions, and copy that folder in there. It does take a few seconds to actually do that, so just give it some time, as it looks like it's going to take about 45 to 30 seconds. All right, now we're going to navigate back to Dolphin. We're going to long press on Super Mario Bros. Wii. We're going to go start with Riivolution patches, and now you'll see a new menu pop up. This menu won't pop up for any other games if it doesn't have a Riivolution patch in it. As you see, I'm long pressing these other ones. These won't pop up because they're not associated with the actual game. So start Riivolution patch. Now we're going to click enabled if you want to enable it. You can click disabled if you want to disable it as well. So let's click start. Click A to play and watch the magic happen as we load up a whole newer game called Newer Super Mario Bros. Wii. And that's it for loading up Riivolution Mods. This section is going to cover game saves. Why would we want game saves? Well, maybe you just don't want to play all the way through the game and you just want to play every track out there for Mario Kart Wii. Which sometimes, that's just a thing. So, to go back to Mario Kart Wii game saves don't import properly for whatever reason. But I have a game save that I did find on Google for this to actually work. And I've backed it up on Discord. So if you want to have a full 100% game save for Mario Kart Wii, which has all of the files that you need, then navigate over to my Discord, which is linked below. Otherwise, we can navigate to a website that has a bunch of game saves. And this website is linked below. It's called GameFAQs. So all I'm going to do is go Wii Game Saves. And I'm going to look for that website. There are a few other ones here, but I'm going to go to Mario Kart Wii Game Saves. Yes, they have the Mario Kart Wii Game Saves here, but they don't actually import properly for whatever reason, like I said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the home. I'm going to press the back button to get out of that ad. I'm going to search the game that I want, which is going to be Donkey Kong Country Returns. So Donkey Kong Country Returns for Wii, which is right here. Now I'm going to navigate to where it says Home, Guides, Q&A, Cheats, and Saves. So I'm going to go to Saves. I'm going to scroll down. Now you have to make sure that you have the right game save for your game. So I'm going to go back to Dolphin. What I mean by that is if you have a European copy or a North American copy, the way that you can tell this is by long pressing on the game, go to Details, and then you can see what country of origin it is. Now I think I have some games here that are maybe North American? No, they're all European. Maybe this one is? No, they're all European. I don't know why. I do know why, because PAL games are better. Anyways, so now that we know that it's a European copy, we can download this Donkey Kong Country Returns 200% plus Shiny Gold's game save. So once you've downloaded that, you're going to have to actually go back into Dolphin. There's an easy way to actually import these game saves. Now, I'm going to navigate to my game just to show you that there's no game save on here whatsoever. And as you see, there's no game saves at all. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have any game states, which I do. But that's a whole different thing. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my three dots, Import Wii Save. I'm going to go to my Odin 2, my Downloads folder. And this game save is going to be in the form of a bin file. So this is the Donkey Kong Country Returns bin file. I'm going to select it. It says save data for this title already exists in the NAND. Consider backing up the current data before overwriting it. Well, I'm going to overwrite it anyways. So you click yes, click OK. Now when I navigate back to that game, I will have that game save for eternity, I guess. So how to get rid of that, I'm going to show you that afterwards. So let's go into the game. Let's show you the game save loading up. And there it is right there. Game 2 at 200%. And then there's just a random one that has 18%. So if I go into the game, we can fully load right into the game at 200% complete. Now, I'm probably not going to ever use this myself, but it is good for you to know where this is if you ever want to back up your game saves, or, you know, maybe share your game saves with somebody else that wants to play on your worlds or whatever, or on your games. Maybe you want somebody to beat a level for you that you can't beat. That's all up to your preference. Now, going to settings, go to config, go to user data. You can actually export your user data, which will export all of your data, which includes your game saves. That's one way to actually do it. The easiest way is by exporting your user data and then importing your user data. Now, another way to actually get rid of that game save, it's a little bit difficult if you already have a whole bunch of games that you've loaded up. But in my case, I don't. I've already backed this information up. So let's go to our Dolphin folder. We're going to go down to our Wii. We're going to go down to title. Now, we're not going to know where our title is unless we go into a game, load it, and then look inside each one of these folders and figure out what game is which. And that's what I'm going to show you right now. So I don't have any other games that I've loaded yet. So I know that this folder right here is my game save folder for Donkey Kong Country Returns. So I'm going to delete this. Just go like that. Delete that data file. I'm going to go back into Dolphin. I'm going to go into my Donkey Kong Country Returns, and that game save is going to be completely gone. And as you see, it's gone. So new game, there's no games there at all. So how we're going to actually load our Mario Kart game. I thought some people might want this because maybe you do want to just play whatever world you want or level you want. You're going to load up the game for a quick second. Now, I'm going to exit the emulation. Now that that's been loaded, I'm going to go back. Now, I already know what folder this is because I've actually looked at this. It's going to be inside the 001004 folder. There it is right there. That's the actual title ID. We're going to go to that. We're going to go to data. And now there's not going to be any data in there. Now, I have supplied you guys with the data for this. So we're going to go to our downloads after you've downloaded it, if you did download it. And here it is. So let's grab all of these files right here. We're going to copy them or extract them. We're going to go down to our download or our Dolphin folder, go to our Wii folder, go to our title, go to our 004, go to this, and extract. Now, that's extracted, we can double check, make sure that it worked properly. Go all the way down to title, 004, and there's those files right there. Now we're going to navigate within our Mario Kart Wii. We're going to load up our game. It'll probably ask you to set up your Mii character again, but as you can see, here are all the actual worlds or levels, whatever, unlocked. So if we press OK, set our guest or our Mii character, and we'll be on our way to play every level that we want to for Mario Kart. Now, that's just like a little hack if you can't find a Wii game save. And look, we can play Mirror. That's it for Wii game saves. So I think we're pretty straight to the point when it comes to setting up our Wii. This is the advanced guide for Wii setup for Dolphin. As I've noticed, like I said, a lot of people having issues with a lot of these different features that we can actually utilize in the Dolphin application, which is really awesome, in my opinion, to actually have this. Yes, I died. Because adding textures does enhance the game. Adding new mods does make it so that you have maybe another game type. Knowing how to set up your actual configuration for your buttons, as you can see here, I don't have the right actual controller set up for this one for some reason, does utilize and help with a lot of different things when it comes to different games, because each game has its own Wii and Nunchuck setup, which some games are kind of more annoying than others, but this is the finalization of the advanced Wii setup guide that I have for you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you have any questions, as I try to answer as many questions as I can, as quick as I can, when I can. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I know this was a very long video, but there were timestamps, so if you wanted to jump to certain sections, you could. Have a nice day. Enjoy gaming. See you next time. Bye-bye!